What is going on, everybody? Vex30 here, coming in with a new video today. It's something that's a bit more serious, something that we actually need to talk about. It is the announcement that has been made for hi-rez about the PPL for next season, and it's not PPL anymore, it's Pro Circuit, I guess. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give our opinions on that. We're going to talk about what our plans are. We're just going to have a whole discussion about it. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's have a conversation down in the comments, what you think. But again, this is going to be a more serious video. No memes, no anything. I want to keep it up, forward, upright, straight up, just everything. I want to keep it real. And let's just talk about what's going on. And with that, let's go ahead and go over the main things we're going to talk about in this video. So the first thing, we're going to go over the main points of the announcement. So we're just going to go over a brief summary, just the main points coming out of the Paladins Pro Circuit, whatever it's called, the circuit, the main points of it. We're going to talk about what we think of it, our opinions on every bullet point, and how we think it's going to affect Paladins Esports in the long run. One of the last ones is our future plans with esports. I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to do the next 6 months. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our future plans with esports mainly. And the final thing is, with this announcement, what the channel is going to be moving forward. I think I already talked about that in the channel update, but I would like to talk about it again here because I have it more consolidated in my head. So it's going to be a more updated version of that. So let's go ahead and talk about the main points of this announcement. Let me go ahead and read these off word for word. It's different. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 bullet points here. It's just the main parts of what we know. First thing, no LAN league. It will be online. No minimum salary for the players. Pricing structure for splits and LAN events. Phase 1, the spring phase, and the summer LAN event. Phase 2 and fall phase. So the first and second phase and the summer LAN event, which is like MSI, and then hi-rez as well. There will be 3 regions, NA, EU, and Brazil. 6 teams per region. League qualifiers, mid-February. Just the qualifiers, see who gets in the league. 40K each phase. So there's a 40K prize pool for each phase. So like say the winner takes 20K of it, or maybe 15. I don't know how the pricing breakdown is going to be. And hi-rez will be roughly 50 to 100K. Actually, sorry, MSI will be roughly 50 to 100K. And then hi-rez is going to be roughly the same. The mid-season relegations are after the summer LAN. So after the summer LAN, there will be relegations for, I believe, the bottom 2 teams. Only league operating, no minor or console league. So it's the only league that's going to operate. It's a circuit. So there's no minor or there's no console league anymore. Records won't carry over and will be based on phases. So first phase, second phase will now be split up. They will be their own separate entity with their own prize pool of 40K, and it will not be a continuous league like it was last year. No more Mixer exclusivity. Twitch will be the primary broadcast source, or the streaming source. Broadcasted the best matches of the week on Thursday at 1 p.m. That's not finalized. Matches not being broadcasted will have demos out for the community. So there will only be certain matches that are broadcasted that are deemed by hi-rez to be the best matches of the week. The rest, there will be demos, I guess, YouTube videos, I assume, of those matches. But no more exclusivity on every platform. But there will be more in-game support, hopefully in some way. Not finalized, but faithful. Hopefully they're hoping that there's more in-game support. Name of the league will be changing to the Paladins Pro Circuit. I am doing this video before the announcement comes out based on the info I have. So the announcement might be a little bit different, and if it is, and if I miss a few things, sorry. I might remake it if the announcement's totally different. If not, this is the info I have, and we're doing a video about it now. But those are the main talking points. I will put down in the description a screenshot of it, so if you want to check them out yourself, moving on to this next part, or I'll put it up here on screen while I talk about it. I'll do separate bullet points. I'll put it on the screen as we talk, but that is it. That's the new Paladins, well, what do they call it? Paladins Pro Circuit, PPC. No more PPL, it's PPC. So let's talk about next about, let's break this all down and give our opinions on it real quick. So let's talk about it. Let me give some personal things first. If I seem a little bit sad in this video, it is disheartening. It's very disheartening for me because I was a competitive player for 3.5 years now, or 3 years roughly. I've been through so many different orgs, so many different players, And it's kind of sad to see it all just go downhill and take a turn, which we'll talk about here in a minute why, and just kind of go back. It's disheartening. These are just personal views of mine. Maybe some people see it differently, but it's just really sad to see. But let's first of all say I can understand why hi-rez Productions made this choice. They have been bleeding money because they rushed the LAN League. It's as simple as that. They rushed into the LAN League thinking Paladins was ready for it. It was not. Paladins was not prepared for a LAN League. They didn't give enough time for players or orgs to find houses. As you know, us, Renegades, Nip, and Navi were all living in a hotel for 9 months. All of you might not know that, but 4 teams out of 8 were in a hotel. And SSG was for half the season. Like, that's rushed. If you're going to do a LAN League, every team has to have a house. And that has to be ready and prepared before the league starts. So rushing into it caused hi-rez to start bleeding money because they weren't getting any money back. Paladins was not ready for that big of an investment. And I think they have to revert back because of the money loss. Again, that is a personal view. I'm not saying that is a fact. That is personal. I think that is the reason. Maybe it isn't, but we'll see. But they were also forced to take a step back because they have no media partnership now. We started on Facebook, we moved to Mixer, and now we have nothing. Facebook and Mixer paid out a lump sum of cash for exclusivity on their platform for the PPL. That's why we had minimum salaries for both seasons of the PPL, or 3 seasons, however many seasons. That's why there were minimum salaries, because of the exclusivity deals, because they paid out a lump sum, and now there's nothing. YouTube, Twitch, why would Twitch want PPL? Nothing. That's the main reason why. That's why they had to take such a far step back as well. The non-minimum salary, though, is very disheartening as a player when you know for a fact, when you don't know for a fact where your money's coming from and where you can put food on the table. You can't, like, as an adult, you cannot do it anymore. You have to go out and find something more stable. You can't play esports for just prize pools. That's not stable. Say you go to a LAN, right? You get sick. What happens? You don't have food that month. You can't pay rent. You can't live like that. You just can't. So that's very disheartening. The no LAN League thing's completely understandable. They rushed it. 3 regions and 6 teams per region. I think it's cool that they're reintroducing Brazil. I think all of my Brazilian friends out there, you guys have one of the most dedicated fan base, player base, everything for Paladins. So you deserve this league. You 100% deserve to be taken care of by hi-rez. You guys have been neglected by the esports side, and I really, truly do think, and I'm very happy that it's different and they care about Brazil now, because it's actually one of the biggest player bases for Paladins. You guys have been neglected, and I'm very happy it's going back there. 6 teams, though, for NAEU and Brazil. I get it because there's no minor league or console league, but it's going to reduce the competitiveness of the league, which we'll, again, talk about later. Only having 2 LANs, like, there isn't enough prize pool. There is enough prize pool. Even if you win every LAN, you're going just barely over the minimum salary of this year's PPL. If you win everything, it's just not sustainable as a player. 40K prize pool per phase with 6 team is a joke. It's a joke. Let me just say it straight up. If each team per phase, there's 6 teams, okay? 1 team wins first in each phase with a 40K. Say they get half, 20K. That is 4K per player, not including sub, which coaches should be being paid. Like, the Spuds did so much for us. He deserves so much more than what he got. Coaches do so much for teams when you have a good coach. But again, that's not the point. 4K per player. Say you get first in both phases. Out of 6 teams, 1 team, 1 of the 6, gets first in both phases. That is 8K altogether per player. That's it, 8K. Not including lands. That's it. Only 8K for 2 phases. You have to get first as well. MSI comes rolling around. Say the prize pool is 100K and you earn, I forgot what it was this year, let's say 40. That's 8K more. You're only at 16. Then you have to go to HRX and perform and win HRX to actually make money. You have to win phase 1, phase 2, and MSI plus HRX to actually earn a living. That's not sustainable. It's honestly, it's just disheartening, to say the least. Sorry. I'm very, like, I'm not emotional, but, like, I'm really, like just, I am emotional about it. I'm not going to lie. Let me tell you the truth. I'm emotional about it. Only one league. Again, I get why they do the 6 teams because it's one league, but not having a dedicated console or minor league, I feel is going to kill the esports. I really do. I feel like not having a minor league, you could do 4 teams and then like a 4-team minor league, but that's more budget, but at least it keeps competitiveness. 4 of the best teams in a pro league, and then relegations, maybe relegate the bottom 2, have a 4-team minor league and have them something to work for. There's nothing to work for. And instead, you're going to be stressed out the whole season thinking, will I earn enough money this month? Will our team win? You can't do this sustainably as an adult, and that's why I believe a lot of pros are going to leave. It's very, honestly, disheartening, and it's sad to hear. The competitiveness is going to go way down, but let's actually talk about that next. We're going to talk about how this affects Paladins Esports in the long run, so let's jump right into that. Now, as much doom and gloom as I put on this video, Paladins Esports is not dead. It's just not. It is taking a step back into 2016 Paladins Esports, yes. But will it die? It's not dead. Will it die? Maybe. Could be totally dead after this year. I can't say for sure. But I can say for a fact that it is dying. And this year will tell if it's dead or not. We took a step back into 2016. We went back 3 years because they rushed things and they can't sustain. They didn't have a sustainable esports. But it's not dead yet. This year, hi-rez could start recouping money. Maybe they put more in-game support, in-game items, orgs come in. We'll see. If it gets the support it needs from hi-rez studios, like it should, like during the LAN League, the game didn't get promoted at all from hi-rez studios in-game, like at all. Like there was maybe some in-game stuff, but I get there is legal reasons why they could not put embedded video in the game. I believe that's what I heard. But there could have been something. Just give us a tab in game that says esports that redirects to the website. There was no support. Maybe it was full league of reasons and I am blaming hi-rez for no reason. But hi-rez should come out and say that at this point. They couldn't do anything. They should own up and say, hey, sorry, they promised to do more support this season, but they should own up to what happened last season. It's just how it should be with companies. If they couldn't promote it, they should tell us they couldn't. If they didn't promote us, they should tell us sorry for they not promoting it. And tell us why they didn't, so we can help work with them. It's, man. And the other thing about this season is the competitiveness is going to go way down. I talked to a lot of pro players, and a lot of players are not playing next season. And if they are, they're going to coast. And what does coasting mean? Not scrimming, paying in a team to be there and to just play matches and hope they make land to make some extra money. Players will not be putting time into the game like they did last season. Do you remember this HRX? How epic it was? Another 3-3, 3-3 set from NV Knights. Our set with Nip, I think, was intense. The finals was intense. The whole PPL season was intense. Do you remember all those moments if you were watching it? All those epic, just close games? That's not going to happen. And if it does, it's going to be 2 way worse teams doing worse things. That's the reason why it's close. Players are not going to put near enough time as they did last season, this season. There's no reason to. If you're not being paid, why do it? I've talked to players. I've talked to the pros, and this is what they say. This is not me speaking out of my butt about them. I've talked to them. And again, next part we're going to talk about what I plan on doing, but this is the most logical conclusion to come to. You need to get paid for the work you put in. And if you're not getting paid, why work? It's as simple as that. The competitiveness is going to go way down. It's going to be a lot less of a competitive season. Players might get worse. Teams are going to get worse. It's going to be bad. But Paladins Esports in the long run, I don't know. This year will tell a lot. If it doesn't get the support it needs and it doesn't grow this year on Twitch, then it's going to die. If it gets the support, maybe we transition back to an online minimum salary next year. But I don't see a LAN league happening for at least 3 more years. They at least need to prep a LAN league for a year, hopefully this time. But I don't think we'll ever get back to a LAN league. It's probably going to stay online, but hopefully if this year goes well, we'll maybe get a minimum salary online league. I don't know. Hopefully. But it's pretty sad. It's pretty disheartening. A lot of the pros are probably out, and if they're not out, they're just not going to care. Now, we talked about what we think of the announcement, what we think the future is. Now let's talk about my future with esports. So I've kind of come to this conclusion after thinking about it. I probably will compete next season. I am going to play, but content is my number one. I will not put esports ahead of content, at least in Paladins, maybe in some other game, but I will not. After what happened last year, how much we went through in the LAN League, we suffered in a hotel. Like, I get it. Some people won't understand. Some people will say, oh, you were in a hotel. You'd be happy. You had it paid for. But it's not your home, and it makes you really just not very happy. Like, it gets to you. hi-rez put players through a lot last season. There's a reason why creatives left mid-season. And there's a reason why like we had nights with Nip where we just chilled and talked, and they were all sad. We were all sad. It wasn't a fun time. I will never put esports ahead of content again with Paladins. Hopefully, maybe I can change my mind after this season, but I will compete. But content will be ahead, and content will be number one. I plan to build a team and create a team that wants to just chill, not really scrim, to be here, just compete, hopefully make it into the league, hopefully make it to a LAN or two, and just have fun with it. No scrimming, really. But that's how I plan on doing it. That's how a lot of pros want to do it. I already have a couple players who want to join the team doing it like that. So that's my plans. I just want to do it for the free money, honestly. Like, if I plan on going content for 6 months, like, I want to go 6 months hard into content and see if it's a viable career for myself. Why not just coast in esports and get some more viewers out of it, or practice the game more, you know? Like, and go to a LAN, have fun at a LAN, because LANs are fun. When you don't have to live there, LANs are fun for a week. But it's that's the plan. It's sucks. My whole life's changed, you know? But we got to adapt with it, go with the flow, you know? Paths diverge, and we got to see where it comes, you know? Come July, come after the first phase, we'll see. We'll see how everything's going, the esport. We'll see after this year how the esport's doing, but it's going to be interesting. And finally, to wrap it all up, let's talk about the channel real quick. With these esports announcements, like I said right before this, I plan to go full content even if I compete. When I compete, content will be my number one priority the whole time. Nothing will change if I compete. I promise. This channel will be more dedicated to educational content. I want to teach you guys how to play this game. I will give you all of my secrets. I don't care about esports. I talked to a couple other YouTubers tonight, and they said they don't care. They're going to give up everything. There's no reason to hold secrets anymore. There's not a future in esports. So you guys will know everything. I promise. I'm going to collab with a couple more esports YouTubers. You can decide, figure out who they are. We're going to do some videos together, giving you tips and tricks on maps and stuff. So that's content planned. Maybe I already released those videos. I don't know when this announcement's going to be. It should be within the next couple of days of me recording this, but we'll see. But yeah, we're going to keep the educational content. I'm going to give you all my secrets, everything I can. That's the plan, though. Nothing's changed really from the channel update. Everything's the same, but more collabs, more working with other pros, and It's final thoughts real quick. Esports, Paladins is dying. You're going to lose a lot of pros. You're going to lose a lot of faces you loved. If you watch esports, you're going to lose orgs that you loved. Maybe you don't watch esports, maybe you don't care at all. But when you do something for livelihood for 3 years and learn to know players, like at least for me, know players, like enjoy being around players, love players, not, it's sad, It's sad everything came crashing down. And we had an idea this was going to happen, but we didn't know until we were just told. We were told before the announcement. At least they let us know before they announced publicly, which good on hi-rez, but everything came crashing down. It's not like it had a gradual decline. It went from LAN League 20K minimum to online 1 league, right? We had PCL, PML, and PPL. Minimum salaries for PPL, a LAN League for PPL, to an online 1 league, 6 teams, no minimum. Things change fast, and you just got to adapt to it and learn to move on with your life. I know this wasn't one of my more upbeat videos. It was a more serious video, but it's something I really needed to talk about and talk over. I might do a video in the future talking about last year and going more in depth about what really happened with the LAN League. I plan to do that video at some point, but for now, I'm going to end this here. I'm too sad to keep talking about it. There's nothing more to talk about. I hope everybody enjoyed this video when it comes to information. It wasn't very enjoyable, I'm sure, to listen to. It sucks. It hurts. Like, I have a very monotone voice right now. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's sad. Like, it's actually sad. But I know it's not one of my upbeat content, but it needed to be talked about. So I hope all of you enjoy your day, night, evening, morning, dawn or dusk, or whatever it is where you live. And I will see you in the next one. Later.